Hi everyone! I'm really excited to do my first Instagram live video today. So we are going to be talking about the new moon in Gemini, which is tomorrow, June 13th. Thank you all so much for joining me. I just really wanted to talk briefly, do a little mini reading on the new moon in Gemini. I do offer full moon tarot readings over in the Maven Unmasked Etsy shop, and I'm like, I need to do something for the new moon. So now I think hopefully if this goes well, that this will be a regular thing on the Maven Unmasked Instagram. So the new moon in Gemini. Okay, so Gemini is an air sign. It is associated with the planet of Mercury. And when we think Mercury, we think Hermes. We're talking about fast communication, quick thought, fast movement, the mind, the intellect, speech, how we communicate, and new ideas. And I love that the new moon is in Gemini. So for some of you who may feel like you've been struggling on getting some new innovative or creative ideas, this is a really good time to plant seeds for new forms of study, new forms of learning, new ways of learning how to communicate. Maybe you got a new piece of technological equipment, a new camera, a new phone, tablet, computer. Now is a good time to really go into learning those things. If you want to learn how to edit photography, edit photos, that's dealing with technology, that's a mercurial thing. So now would be a really good time to do that. Okay, reading, writing, singing, any form of expression. And also when I think of Gemini, I really like to think of the throat chakra as well as the crown. Okay, so crown, again, intellect, mind, the mental realm, thought processes, and the throat chakra, speech, communication, self-expression, your authentic truth. And I feel like Spirit really wanted to say, are you fully expressing your truth? And when I think about Gemini, I think about the duality, okay, the twins, right? So everyone is so multifaceted. There's so many different sides to everyone. Okay, there's a face we show to those we work with. There's a face we show, to our family, and a face for, when we're just by ourselves. We have a role to play in different areas of our life. And I feel like this particular new moon, we're being asked to express the full gamut of ourselves and to not just compartmentalize our expression, to fully step into our truth and communicate it openly. Okay. I did get a little message from my guides. It's really brief before we start pulling cards, but they said, where are you going? Okay. Where are you going and what are you moving towards? Use your intellect. If you think it, you can will it. Now is the time to go after lost dreams. And I thought that was really beautiful. Now is the time to go after lost dreams. So the things that you always thought about doing and never did, always wanted to do and never did. Hi, Witchy Boo 65. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. But now is the time to go after lost dreams, to go after lost goals, lost hopes, lost courses of study. Maybe you always wanted to take a Spanish class or something. Communication, language. Now would be a really, really good time for it. Okay. Also with the sign of Gemini, I can't talk about it without talking about the Lovers card in the tarot, the twins. Okay, the light and the darkness. And I want to say right now, it's a really important time to be open in your communication with your lovers. Okay, get everything out on the table. Speak about it. Because nothing can ever be fully handled or worked through if you don't express it, if you don't talk about it. It lives in the shadows and festers and turns into this nasty thing. So really lay everything on the table this new moon in Gemini. Okay, the new moon in Gemini with the Lovers as well is also about primordial choice. Okay, what I mean by primordial choice, I mean Adam and Eve and the Garden of Eden and the apple. Do I eat it or do I not? So it's really about using your mind to make the best decisions possible. Okay, alrighty, so let's go ahead and pull some cards, shall we? Okay. But think about how you can increase your communication. How can you strengthen your communication skills? Are you reading enough? Is there something new that you want to study or learn? Now is the really perfect time for it. Okay. How can you take what you've learned and begin to integrate it into more of yourself, to actually live what you've learned? Okay, instead of just letting it float around. Some of you may be feeling a bit anxious at the moment with this new moon because, again, Gemini is so fast moving. It's a bit flighty. It doesn't like to stay in one place for too long. So with this new moon, especially it being in an air sign, grounding is very, very important for us at this time. Okay. Alrighty. What is the energy surrounding us this new moon in Gemini? What do we need to know as a collective? Thank you. We call upon our angels, our guides, our ancestors, our loved ones in spirit, ascended masters, divine light beings for our best and highest good. And, you know, I just like them to fall out. Thank you. Okay. Alrighty. So, our shadow card, the underlying theme, we have the 9 of Earth, and this is the Cosmos Tarot, by the way. Okay, vigilance, watchfulness, and guidance. And I really love that for this new moon. The new moon in Gemini can really bring you to a new state of awareness, to a new state of mindfulness and being present in the moment. Stay vigilant, stay watchful, stay observant. Okay, eyes wide open. Notice everything around you. Really expand your senses. Okay, by expanding your senses, you can communicate what you're seeing and what you're feeling even better. Okay, with this card, I also want to say be mindful of gossip, of drama, of negative self-talk, of any two-facedness, whether that be from you or from someone else you may know or be involved with. But really try and just stay in your lane. And stay out of petty arguments. Oh my gosh, my ear is ringing so loud right now. I hear you, Spirit. Stay out of petty arguments, you guys. Spirit was like, wah, wah, wah. Yes. Okay, so that's going to be really, really, really important for us. Gemini, your mouth may like to get going. Okay, so really slow it down and think before you speak. Thank you, Spirit. I feel like that's another thing that's of importance, not just spewing word vomit. Make sure that before you speak that you get the words right, that you formulate a coherent sentence, that you really take the time and they're showing me the Knight of Swords in my head. So the Knight of Swords is about fast, quick movement. It can also be about, you know, I have to express my opinion and you better listen to it, you know, being a little bit aggressive or abrasive in the way that you're communicating. So just be mindful of that as well. If somebody starts to be that way, don't engage in it. Also with the sign of Gemini, Gemini is about siblings, okay? It's also about, yes, what you're learning, how you've learned, but it's also about siblings and your neighborhood where you live. So how is your relationship with your neighbors? Don't get into petty arguments over BS with your neighbors. Things with your siblings may be coming up, situations or a need to communicate or to express or set a certain boundary. Okay, what new things have you learned about your siblings and your relationships with your siblings? Okay, so the first card we have here, we have the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Earth. Gesture of goodwill and compassion from strangers. So I want to say with this new moon in Gemini, how can you speak goodwill? How can you accept compassion from strangers? Sometimes we have a really hard time doing that, on being open, or if somebody gifts you something or does something nice for you, or gives you a smile, sometimes you may be like, well, what's going on, or what are their real intentions? You know, you may have that that suspicious or skeptical voice in the back of your head. So I feel like Spirit is acknowledging that now is a good time to accept those gifts from strangers, to accept that love, to accept that compassion, and to pay it forward as well. Do some gestures of goodwill, or maybe you're in line at, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts or something in the morning. Pay for the person behind you, or hold the door open for somebody who's elderly or sick or struggling. Somebody dropped something on the floor, offer to help them and pick it up. There's a million different things that you can do that could be a gesture of goodwill. Okay, so the next card we have is the Five of Wands, keeping up appearances and tactical fitness. Okay, so remember how I was talking about having the many different facets, the many different expressions of you, the many different faces that you wear, or and not to be fake or inauthentic, but sometimes it's just not appropriate, depending on who you're with or the venue or whatever it is. But are you living in your truth? Okay. Did you want to get that new Mercedes Benz because you wanted it, or because your neighbor got one and you're just trying to keep up with the Joneses? Did you get that new bag? Did you get that new tarot deck? Is it really your style or your taste, or are you just getting it because everybody else has it? Okay, so really letting go of keeping up appearances, letting go of competition, letting go of ego. It really feels like being mindful of our ego, okay? And with that, also with Gemini, being mindful of, are you being boastful? Are you being prideful or egotistical in the way that you're speaking about yourself? Are you putting others down in the way that you're speaking? So really be mindful, again, of the way that you're communicating, and communicate with love, okay? Remember, gestures of goodwill. All right, so the next one is the Queen of Earth, facilitation of social gatherings and meetings of the mind. So again, I feel like that really comes back to this keeping up of appearances. Okay, it's okay to be you. It's okay to express yourself. It's really about being secure in who you are. And Gemini, I think, is one of those signs that is that is a little bit more secure in who they are than other signs. They accept the duality within themselves, sometimes subconsciously, but I really believe that they do. Okay, I feel like this new moon in Gemini is about finding people who share your interests, who share your passions, who can give you a boost, about networking, about building a community, okay, studying together, learning together. Maybe there's a conference you want to go to, or a class that you want to take, okay? Or maybe let's say you want to learn more about astrology, get some friends together and begin a study program together, okay? Our next card, and I love we have this, of course, how could we not? We have the moon, okay? The moon, the moon, the moon. So the sign of Pisces. So for some of us, we may be a little bit sensitive. We may be a little bit emotional. I want to say be mindful of any escapism this new moon in Gemini. But Pisces is dealing with the subconscious, indecision, critique, and sensitivity. So try not to be too overly sensitive about things that may be said to you. Again, we're with this new moon in Gemini. Hi, everyone. That people may be a little bit more abrasive and aggressive in the way that they're speaking. Put your armor on, put your shield up, call in your protector guides, your spirits, and just tell them to back the F up. Not necessarily verbally, but in your mind. Hi, Carrie, sweetie. And really set those boundaries. Know when to engage and when not to engage. Don't let somebody else's abrasiveness disrupt your inner peace, okay? But again, with the Gemini can be kind of flighty, so we may be experiencing some indecision. I want to do this and I want to do that, okay? Really do your research. I'm hearing researching is the key to determining your life purpose. Thank you, Spirit. That's big. Research is the key to determining your life purpose. So again, if there's an area that you want to study, something that's been bubbling, up on the subconscious, or that's been sitting on the back burner, you've been saying, oh, I'm going to do it. Oh, I'm going to learn about it. Oh, I'm going to, and you never do. Okay, now is the time for that. I also want to say at this time to not be too self-critical. Okay. Again, Gemini, the way that we're thinking and communicating, not just with others, but with ourselves. Okay. Last week on my page, I talked a little bit about the way that you communicate with yourself about money. I don't have, I can't, I this, I that. If you always say, I wish, I want, I don't, I can't, I don't have, you will always be in a state of, I wish, I desire, I can't, I want, I don't have. So use I am in the way that you're speaking about yourself. Be really mindful not to be harsh and overly critical. Okay. Thank you. I'm also hearing from Spirit not to be so much in your mind, again, with this indecision and this anxiety, this quick, fast moving thoughts and ideas and everything. Have pen and paper handy so you can write some of these ideas down. And again, that's why I feel like the grounding is important, to kind of calm the mind some, but don't allow this back and forth chatter in the mind to keep you stuck and stagnant and not bringing your manifestations forth. And then the last card we have for this new moon in Gemini, we have the Ace of Cups, or the One of Water, in one's element and ease of action. Okay, so I want to say with this, again, Spirit is giving me the research and the life purpose. Okay, research and life purpose. When you research more about the things that you're interested in, you can dig a little bit deeper and say, is this really for me, or is this not really for me? Or maybe I was just trying to keep up appearances because this is other people I'm friends with's interest, but is it really yours? So by doing that research, you can see if it's really something for you. Play around for a little bit, but when you find your niche, when you find that thing, it will be like a duck taking to water, a bird taking to the air, you know, a fish swimming in the sea. It will come naturally. It will come with ease. It will be a remembering of what your soul already knows. So I just want to say with this, tune into your guides, tune into your sense of communication with them, and ask them and ask your soul, what is it that I already know that is ready to be reawakened within me? Hi, Miller779. I am going to see if I can save this live if I can. Again, this is my first live, so I'm not quite too sure how to do that yet, but I will post it on the Maven Unmasked YouTube channel. So if any of you missed this, please check out the Maven Unmasked YouTube channel. I will do my best to post it there. So let's pull one more card. Let's pull one more card. Again, I'm using the Cosmos Tarot for this, and I'm just going to pull an oracle card from the oracle portion of this deck. Just one final message for us. Ooh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so the shadow card we have for this, I absolutely love it. Galaxy, community, diversity, and contributions. I really, really love this for this new moon. So again, we were talking about the community, the meeting of the minds, the gathering with people who are into what you're into, okay, but not trying to keep up appearances. You're welcome, sweetie. So gathering with your community, what new things do you want to learn with your community? Are you growing with your community at large? Okay, what are your thoughts on your community and the human condition at large? Remember the galaxy, again, Gemini, crown chakra, thought, intellect. Okay, it is also our connection to the divine, the connection to everyone, the connection to all. So what are your thoughts on the human condition, and what role do you play in that? Okay, how are you speaking about others? How are you speaking about the conditions of others in the way of the world? Are you really, if you see an injustice, are you really doing something about it, or are you just thinking about it? How can you correct that? The diversity, knowing that, there's one Mars, even though there may be other planets that are similar to Mars, there's one Mars, there's one Jupiter, there's, one moon for us on Earth, okay? So, and they each have a different role to play in the galaxy. Each of those planets all have different properties, okay? If you think about a garden of herbs, they all have different magical properties which play a role for the community at large. They each have their role, and by being diverse, they're not any less than another. Okay, they each have unique talents and gifts. So really enjoy those, and really tune into that with yourself. You don't, again, I keep coming back to this keeping up appearances. You don't have to be somebody else. Okay. Alrighty, so the next three we have the sun, rebirth, illumination, and visualization. Okay, so I definitely think this will come in handy for the actual manifesting portion of what you may be trying to do this new moon. Really, really visualize it. Talk to yourself about it. If you're lighting candles, if you're charging a crystal with your intention, speak it, speak to it. Because again, Gemini, communication, speech, thought, speak to it, visualize it. Okay. You know, again, I feel called to talk about asking your soul what it wants to relearn, what it wants to remember. Hi, Maria. Thank you for joining. But what it wants to relearn, what it wants to be reawakened, what it wants to be illuminated again, okay? The next one we have is a comet, a sign of fate and a harbinger of change. And I love that. So we don't have any like tower cards or anything like that. But when I think of comets flying across the sky, it's like you're doing something and then all of a sudden you see it out of the corner of your eye and you look up and you just managed to catch it. And I feel like for a lot of us, we're looking for that next thing. What are we supposed to be doing next? Where are we supposed to be going? And I feel like for us, it may be so subtle that you just may catch it out of the corner of your eye, or if you're not looking, you may miss it. So remember in the beginning of this video, I said really expand your senses and be hyper aware, okay? Be vigilant. Remember, okay? But be very, very aware, be very, very open so you can catch those things. You can pick them up. You can get those little intuitive hints, okay? And really work with them this new moon. But fate is coming and change is coming. So be on the lookout for that. If you want to create powerful, positive change, maybe this new moon in Gemini is the way for you to go. Remember, Mercury, and we're thinking about the magician in tarot as well, okay? That willpower to create, okay? Yay, I'm so glad. Carrie, I'm so glad. And I'm glad, Maria. Wonderful, thank you. And then our last card here, we have Nebula, theory, ideation, and process. So, theory, you have a theory, it's an idea, it comes to you. But then you have to do certain formulas or certain procedures to test that theory, okay? So again, the study, the research, the coming up with ideas. Know that you may get a ton of new innovative ideas right now with this new moon, but that doesn't necessarily mean that all of them can hold water. So really take your time and again, do the research, try and come out of this back and forth with the mind and work on trying to make a decision, work on trying to find some solid ground. Again, I feel like grounding is really, really, really important for this. What theories do you have that are tried and true, and what have you found that doesn't really work for you anymore? Okay, new beliefs may be coming in for you. New beliefs, new sets of values, new faith. Okay, new ideas about the world and your role in it and where you think your life is going and where you want it to go. Be open to those things, okay? Be open to that and be open to the process. But know that everything in life that you try at first is really just a theory until you prove it to be true for you. Okay, but I'm Ariel, and this has been Maven Unmasked with your new moon in Gemini intuitive insights and tarot reading. I will do my best to figure out how to save this so I can put it on my YouTube channel for those of you who missed the beginning and you want to catch up and see what else Spirit had to say. But thank you so much for joining me, you guys, on my first Instagram Live. This was so fun. I really think that this may be something that I do for the new moon on a regular basis. If you guys really enjoyed that, please be sure to let me know. But I hope you all have that wonderful, wonderful new moon. You really get those thoughts in order. You stay grounded, drink plenty of water, and get ready for some wonderful manifesting. Thank you all so much. Love you guys. Bye.